Good morning, dreamers. How are you today? First sip hits the spot. Yesterday, I went to bed listening to a podcast that my brother has started. It's just a weekly devotional announcement type of podcast for his church, but it's in the public forum, so I thought I'd listen and see how he's doing. And he's definitely got a soothing voice, and so it wasn't a bad thing to be listening to, focusing on Jesus. And he talked about being tired, being exhausted, and how our reactions and our responses to the world around us are overwhelmingly negative when we collectively and individually live in the malaise that is pandemic. And we tend to want to blame someone. We tend to want to put blame somewhere. But our reactions are still our reactions, and we need to be gracious and kind. But it's really hard to do when we're exhausted. And when I'm listening to that, it was produced before Bell Let's Talk. It was listened to on the Bell Let's Talk Day here in Canada. But as I'm listening to it, and the focus is all in my world, is on mental health and the struggles that people have, because they don't have mental health, they have mental illness. And I think that's really key. We talk about mental health, but the reason we need to talk about it is because people are not mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy. We're sick. Our society is sick. Individuals are sick. The world is sick. And part of getting well is doing the hard work. I remember when I was in grade 9 and I had juvenile chronic fatigue syndrome. And there were days when it was 23 out of 24 hours were sleeping. Not just in bed, but sleeping. I was truly a cat. And it was a terrible, terrible year. And when I went to Toronto Sick Kids, I didn't remember much about that trip. I really didn't, because I was falling asleep on my mom, and I'm in the waiting room falling asleep. And what I do remember is the doctor there saying, okay, sometimes healing does not come from medicine. Sometimes healing comes from patterns, and comes from determination, and comes from schedules. Sometimes healing has to come from within. And nothing I prescribe in a bottle for you is going to work. And because I'm 15 and I'm thinking, come on, man, there's got to be something you can give me to make this go away. And he said, first of all, what I'm about to explain to you, you need to follow it as a regimen. But when the regimen gives in and you can't do it, there's no guilt. You start again next time you wake up. And the regimen was set your alarm for when you usually need to get up for school. So if that was 6 o'clock in the morning, I usually set my alarm for 6 o'clock in the morning. Set it again, 6 o'clock in the morning. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I sit up in bed for as long as I can sit up. Go back to sleep. Next day, same thing. Go as long as you can. By day 5, you need to be getting out of bed. Stay up as long as you can, even if it's just in a chair. And the pathway to healing was long and arduous, and it was physically painful. But I got there because I did the hard work. I was probably very grumpy with the family around me, trying to be so patient and kind and gentle. They were exhausted just like me. And they could have been like, would you just try harder? But they didn't. They knew there was a problem. And it turns out that the partner of this condition was depression, and I have never ever been able to say goodbye to that 100%. But I know when it descends on me how to handle it. And I do that by scheduling morning me, taking care of nighttime me. So I go to work today and I need to know what's going to be on the menu plan for supper. I need to know where I'm headed, what my schedule looks like. So yes, I have administration skills because I have to have them in order to thrive and exist, let alone thrive. So those are the things that I've been pondering this week as we talk about mental illness, because yeah, this is hard. Life can be very, very hard sometimes. But we're responsible for how we treat others. And we cannot just sit and say, well, that's how I am. How about we start saying, I'm willing to work on that. That's the key. Instead of, that's how I am. I'm willing to work on that. Thanks. Anyway, don't forget to spend some time dreaming and know that I love you. Bye.